Hi, Veena.
Hi, Dean.
Veena, so you just started a hypothetical 1 year fractional CMO engagement. Okay, today's day one. Tell me what a fractional CMO is and does in the first 90 days, and let everyone know a little bit about you as well.
Sure. So I'll start by introducing myself. So my name is Veena Vadgama, and I'm a lead fractional CMO for about 6 different companies right now. So I'm quite busy, if you can imagine. I've been doing B2B marketing for about 25 years, and a lot of the companies that I've had the pleasure of working with over the years have become famous brands in their little, areas of the world that they operate in. So that's been really, really quite fun. To answer your question on what does a fractional CMO do on day one of the job, it's no different than a regular, full-time CMO coming in. You
Mm-hmm.
get to know the team. You get to know the head of product. You get to know the head of sales. You have to get to know who are the marketing resources, internally. So it's a lot of first 30 days is usually a lot of listening, a lot of understanding who affects marketing in what way, what processes do they have. The other thing I will always say from a very tactical perspective is you got to get your handle around events. A lot of times in my companies, I've come in very practically into these smaller firms, and they have 6 events lined up for the next 6 months, and those have very hard forcing function dates and
Mm-hmm.
and ideas and things to do. And if those you get blindsided by, everything else kind of starts falling apart around it. So I try to get the events knocked out first, get a plan going, as well as get to know the folks in the organization.
Oh, and Sapan, hi.
Hi, Dean. So,
Yeah, same question.
same
Right?
same
What does a
question.
fractional CMO do what is a fractional CMO and what do they do in the first 90 days? And let everyone know a little bit about you.
Yeah. So I'm also going to start, with a brief
Yeah.
introduction about myself. I'm Sapan. I'm a fractional CMO for about 3 to 4 e-commerce clients currently. I mostly work with e-commerce firms doing anywhere between 40 to $50 million, and I'm usually brought into work, with finance and marketing to help them grow their sales in the most profitable categories. So, some of my job involves revolving around, what to market and how to market, and kind of, identifying the profit-making categories. As far as figuring out, what generally happens within the first 90 days for a fractional CMO, I think, as Veena mentioned, it's typically not very different from what a full-time CMO would do. It's about getting to know the team better, and that means having to interact with senior leadership and mid-level, or even possibly I make it an effort to also uh, uh, hang around with the junior team members, understand what their challenges are, and also have regular check-ins with finance team to understand where are the margins, where is the money, what products are selling well, what products aren't selling well. And most of all, I think I spend a lot of time with customer success teams or customer service teams, because I think it's incredibly important to understand what their pain points are. Uh, Often ignored marketing. I mean, there are a lot of copywriters spend a lot of time, drafting fancy ad copy for ads or for websites, but a lot of them don't spend time with customer service teams understanding what the actual pain of the customer is. And I think that is where the real gems and the real opportunities lie. So really understanding the different divisions, the different business units, hanging out with the team members, and like Meena mentioned, a lot of listening.
All right. So you mentioned where's the money, where's the profits, where's the ROI and stuff. Uh, let's imagine that I'm the client's CEO. Okay. And I even had to, work for a while or fight even to get budget to bring in a fractional CMO. Right. So Sapan, I'm the CEO. I've agreed or I got budget for a 1 year fractional CMO. How do I get maximum value out of that money that I'm spending on my fractional CMO? Or if you like answering it the other way, how do companies normally waste the money that they put aside for fractional CMOs?
So I think the number one way which I've experienced, and I've had this experience myself,
Yeah.
is of companies wasting money is not to have clear expectations from day one in terms of what the business needs to achieve at the end of the year, what the marketing function needs to achieve, and what some of the other relevant functions needs to achieve. Now it could be the goals could be revenue driven, it could be expanding to newer markets, it could be acquiring more audiences or more users on the platform. But I feel the number one reason is always, setting clear expectations and having clear communication in the team for any kind of, fractional CMO assignment to work. The other big thing that I always feel is that, there should be, the CEO of the company should also be able to, give access to a lot of resources to the fractional CMO one, because no one knows the business better than the CEO of the company. For a lot of the companies, the CEO also doubles up as the founding member of the company,
right.
Which means they're doing it day in day out, probably even 22 hours a day in the initial stages of the company. So they really know the company inside out, which is why I feel that for this assignment to work, the CEO must have clear expectations of what is achievable, what is reasonable, along with the fractional CMO, and also bear in mind the fractional CMO is an outsider always and always. Even though he or she is working inside the team and along with the team, at the end of the day, it's not their business. So they would not know the business as much as the CEO would know it. So setting clear expectations and after some time, once you get into the nitty-gritties of the business, regular check-ins, encouraging collaboration. And I think as a person, I always like transparent feedback. So so if my CEO thinks that I'm doing a shitty job, I'm very open and very welcoming to receiving that feedback as early as possible, rather than getting into month 6 and saying, this is not working for us.
Better to know that at the end of Q1, not the end of Q4. Yeah.
Yes.
And Veena, how about you? If I'm the CEO, like I want to squeeze every last penny of value that I can out of this 1-year engagement with my fractional CMO. How am I doing it?
I think Sapan said it really well. I'll just add to that. With all the clients I've had, I've seen essentially a couple of types of CEOs. One is exactly like he described. They're the co-founder of the company. They've usually been wearing the marketing hat until I come in. And then they see me in two ways. They say, "Oh, thank goodness, I don't have to think about marketing all day now. She's got it."
Right.
And then ideally they sort of let me, have free reign to understand what are the business priorities. I come back with a plan, we discuss it, and I'm off to the races, right? That's the perfect solution for me personally. However, we have a lot of CEOs that are like, I'm really good at marketing. I just don't have the bandwidth to be this person anymore. And I want you to execute my vision. So it's my job to figure out where that person sits in those two types of brains. And if I'm here to execute their vision, then I need to make sure they're being super honest and clear with me about what that vision looks like. One of the problems as a marketer, and Dean, you guys know this very well, is the marketing list is never done. There are ideas coming out of every corner of the company, and you have to decide, are you a reactive marketing person? You're going to try to, put out the fire of the day, or are you looking at what are we actually doing to build pipeline and to make sure that we have, leads 6 months from now that are high quality? So it's my job to sort of put that anchor in, but I would tell the CEO, am I here to execute your vision? Let's make sure I get it. Or am I just helping take this over from you? You can go focus on other areas of the business. Right. Let's have that strong dialogue, and then I'll be able to help in that right way.
Okay, Veena, so we talked about marketing's endless tasks and stuff, right? Not every time, but a lot of the time when a fractional CMO is brought in, there's an existing marketing team, right? How does hiring a fractional CMO improve things for that team? I don't mean for the whole company, but how does it improve things? Like what's 1 or 2 ways it would improve things for the marketing team, department, group?
Well,
how are they better off now that there's a fractional CMO?
If there's a team, it's amazing and it's so wonderful, because execution is, in my mind, 80% of success in a marketing role, right? So if I come in and there's already a team that's there to help strategize, but also to help execute, it's wonderful. And so I tell a team, look, you've been so far probably reporting to the CEO. Maybe you've been reporting into product. Maybe you've been into sales. I'm now here to be your marketing person to sort of help us focus and not sort of be in that reactive firefighting mode. Let's set a strategy. Let's make sure the rest of the company understands our value, and then let's do it together as a team. So I would tell a person, please see me as someone who's adding more support, someone who's in your corner, who's sort of helping us execute the right vision and not being that sort of reactive marketer that a lot of the smaller, $1 million to $5 million companies that I work with get, are stuck into. So I feel like it's a huge blessing to have a team in place.
Yeah. Sapan, what do you think? Like how does having a fractional CMO brought in improve things for the existing marketing team?
So I think, as far as my experience has been, I think hiring a fractional CMO always adds that, extra level expertise, because a fractional CMO is working on like 4 or 5 or maybe even more number of clients at a time. So they have the expertise from either different industries, which they could apply to that company, or if they're working in the same industry, then they could have the expertise of different clients. So a lot of the objection handling or bottlenecks in terms of where the junior team would struggle is where the fractional CMO kind of come in and give them a direction. So he or she then really becomes like a coach or a mentor to the team, while still allowing the team to function on a day-to-day basis. And besides that, I think what the fractional CMO also helps improve on the marketing side is, what I've observed is when there's an internal marketing team that's working along with, either reporting to sales or some of the other department heads, they really get involved in a lot of the day-to-day and kind of optimizing it on a week-to-week or a month-to-month basis, rather than just taking a back seat and looking at, oh, maybe the last quarter we did ABC initiatives. Where are we in this quarter as compared to the last quarter, or where were we last year? So I think that is where the fractional CMO can really let the team do its own thing on a day-to-day basis, but still kind of just time and again, maybe through regular check-ins, just tell them that this is where we were last year. This is where we need to be here, or you guys are doing a great job. We've already crossed some numbers. So I think it really acts as a very, very motivating factor and kind of big support for the internal marketing team to have someone like a fractional CMO who's in their corner.
Well, let's stay with them for a second, right? Let's say I'm a junior employee in marketing, right? And my company's just hired a fractional CMO. What am I going to learn?
So I think one of the big takeaways is always the way a fractional CMO would execute things, and that is, I think, the biggest takeaway for a junior marketer, because as Veena rightly said, 80% of marketing is about execution, and if you're not executing, then basically they're just ideas on the paper, right? So I think one of the big takeaways is execution. The other big thing I feel is analysis of data, of quarter-over-quarter analysis or year-over-year analysis. What we mostly see from a lot of the marketing teams and also from teams outside of marketing is they do have access to data, but almost all of it is that the so-called analysis is data puking, really. So I think we're already telling the CEOs or the founders or the senior leadership what we're already seeing either in Google Analytics or some of the other CRM softwares. I think the biggest benefit I feel for a junior marketer is in the way the CEO looks at the data and see, oh, we are doing 20% better than we were doing last year, but is it because we just got a bigger budget, or is it because of the other factors? Maybe a competitor just increased the prices, which has allowed us more inroads into the market, and that's why we're doing 20%. So those are the kind of learnings that would typically fall on a junior marketer, and I think that is a big opportunity. The third opportunity.
Sorry, go ahead, Sapan.
Yeah, sorry, just last point. The third big opportunity that I feel is on the strategizing side of things and the planning side of things. So I think three things that probably a junior marketer would take away.
Veena, let's invert it a little bit. I'm the junior. I'm a junior marketer, and a fractional CMO has just been hired. What am I not, or what should I not expect to change, right, or to get from a fractional CMO?
What would you not expect to change? What would you not expect to change? I'm trying to think that.
Well, here's an example, right?
Now.
A fractional CMO, generally speaking, is not a day-to-day manager of people. So I probably shouldn't expect to be able to, schedule any meeting at any time of the work week. And,
interesting. I don't know that I see it exactly the same way, Dean, because And the clients that I come with, I do set up the weekly one-on-ones with the team members. We do have our team meetings. We do work with C-suite. So hopefully there isn't a feeling of not enough interaction. That is critical for the team to be going. I would say that they should not expect that they're still going to be working in a silo, right? Because one of the things that I will say in a marketing department at a small company, you're pretty lonely in terms of marketing resources and marketing talent and marketing ideas. And so someone like me who comes in with 25 years of experience in B2B, I can say, hey, I've seen analyst relations work. I've seen it totally be a budget suck and get nowhere. I can bring that experience into a junior marketer and say, let's understand how things are working in the current environment. Then let's take the 25 years of trying it here in these different industries, and let's put the right program together that's going to provide us with some ideas within 3 to 6 months. Is this working or not? So I would tell a junior marketer, you're going to not see a lack of support. You're going to not see, a lack of ideas. Hopefully what you are going to see is more of a concrete, plan and someone who has your back in terms of what we're trying to do and we're trying to push forward throughout the company.
Good. Okay. Hey, so let's switch gears a little bit. The audience, most of this audience for this podcast is not fractional CMOs, and it's not really made for them. But hi, if you're here, welcome. I want to ask a question for them. Like, what kind of fractional CMOs get renewed, Veena? Who gets re-upped after the year's over?
Yeah, the fractional CMOs that get renewed, is this trite? It's the ones that bring results. I am reporting to a CEO as Sapan said, I'm reporting to a CFO, I'm reporting to a board of directors, right? I'm in the board meetings, I'm delivering the quarterly board updates. We get renewed when we have results. And I don't, I can be as nice as I want to be and I can have a wonderful team and everyone's happy, but if we're not building pipeline, there's no reason to renew. I mean, if you've learned the business to the level you have in a year, ideally you're so embedded and you're so helpful to the organization that they'd be stupid not to renew you, because there's a lot of learnings that happen in those first 3 to 6 months, and you don't want to start over with somebody else. It has to be really painful for people to want to switch. I think at that point, I believe in succession planning, right? So my goal is to bring in a full-time CMO, and I'm trying to get them, in that bridge, because marketing is a full-time job. We're here, in my mind, as a bridge to when that company is ready to bring in that full-time person that they probably can't afford yet. So I'm all about, how am I helping you get there?
And Sapan, what do you think? Who gets renewed? Who gets re-upped?
Yeah, I think it's just a no-brainer. As Veena mentioned, people who get results, get renewed 100% of the time. I have been in situations when the results didn't go my way, but I was the nicest employee and it didn't help me with my renewal. So it's a hard pill to swallow. But I think other than that, one of the other factors that I also think, obviously the results has to be there, but the cost of hiring a fractional CMO versus a full-time CMO for some companies, just having a fractional CMO in place all the time works really well over a full-time CMO. One is because they just don't have the budget to hire a full-time CMO, and second, they probably don't need a full-time CMO, because if they figure that the fractional CMO thing is working out for them, fine, then there's really no reason to. But yeah, results is like it starts and ends with results. No amount of, unfortunately, post-COVID, and then this has been my personal experience, as post-COVID, we've had a lot less in-person meetings as compared to pre-COVID. And at the end of the day, as humans, we thrive on relationships and we thrive on social interaction. And if your social interaction is just going to be online, you're only going to make as much of a difference to that relationship as compared to when you meet in person, once every week or once every 2 weeks. So your chances of renewal gets even more heavily dependent on the results that you're bringing rather than just the relationship.
All right. And I'm going to ask both you guys, because I'm interested in this question. I've never asked it on this podcast before. There are like easier ways to make a living than being a CMO generally and a fractional CMO specifically. Like, why do you do this job? I am not a fractional CMO. Right? Why do you do this job? Like, why is this fun?
Yeah,
go ahead.
I think it's fun because like personally for me it's challenging. I feel I get an opportunity to learn from a lot of different teams.
Right.
I also, from a personal standpoint, I like interacting with different people, trying to understand their culture, their background, their ideas. So I feel it's a very steep learning curve for me every single day. I wake up and I don't feel like I'm doing the same thing. When I was in a full-time job, and not, I mean, the full-time job has great benefits. It has, like, there's nothing
Sure.
like a stable paycheck coming in every single month. But I think you're working for the same company. You're I mean, you're doing the same things over and over again. Maybe you'd come out with 10 different ideas one quarter, one of them would work. But I think the beauty of being a fractional CMO is you get to work with different set of individuals every single day. You get to work with different teams, different challenges, different industries.
Right.
And yeah, some days you just suck and some days you just make it. So I think, yeah,
And,
it's a good
well,
experience to fall back.
it's an excellent experience, especially the basically being your own business,
Yeah.
and over time building a skill set for finding and for prospecting, for closing your own sales and stuff. I mean, that's a skill set you'll never regret having. So,
Yeah.
like, Veena, like, why?
Yeah, I struggled, Dean, for the first 6 months, but I will tell you that fundamentally, I mean, at my age, it's who you work with is
Yeah.
number one in my world now. Like all I care about is, who are the folks that I get to interact with on a day-to-day basis. And I actually am in a unique situation, and it's amazing for me personally because I'm with a firm where we do fractional work, HR, marketing, accounting, finance, and marketing. So I'm actually with a team of fractional people. I'm actually have been able to hire my own team of fractional marketers. So I don't feel lonely. I
Right.
get to come into companies with a team that does strategy and execution. So for me, it has been all about who I work with and being able to say no to clients because it just isn't the right fit, or being able to do more work with a client because I can see that there's so much potential here and we're just getting along great, and we all have the same sort of shared values or share, work hard, play hard, sort of mentality that I subscribe to. So I think for me, I wouldn't do it if it wasn't the right people. I'll be quite
Right.
honest.
All right. So this has been great. Thanks you guys so much. And this is episode 51 and the first episode of season 3. It's hard to believe we're already in season 3.
It's amazing.
So many.
Congratulations.
I may personally know more fractional CMOs than anyone in America at this point. I mean,
I
I
think that's fair.
think I could call 300, maybe 350 fractional CMOs, and they would know who I am now because we've had a few conversations. Okay, so Veena, who should reach out to you, and how should they do it?
Anyone who, is a CEO of a B2B company who feels like their marketing feels like MacGyver, duct tape,
Yeah,
it's just kind of put together with a whole bunch of stuff everywhere. It feels a little homemade. It feels a little DIY. We need to scale. We've got 3 to 4 customers. They're bringing in good money, but man, we got to get this to scale. We've got to see a huge growth. Let's get some professional people in here that have done it,
right,
in and out so many times, and they can put in the right processes and bring in the right partners and set up the right programs. That's our perfect customer, right?
right.
Because they have hunger, they have passion, they've seen it, they have some good value. Now they need a team to come in and make it right.
And how? How do
Uh,
And
they get that? No,
oh,
Veena, like, is it the website? Is it go to LinkedIn first?
Oh, how do they find me?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. I'm so sorry. I didn't understand the question. Yes, they can find me on LinkedIn. They can go to 512financial.com/marketing.
Okay.
That's our marketing page that provides our services. I am very active on LinkedIn. That's a wonderful place to hook me up, and see what we can do together.
All right. And Sapan, who should reach out to you and how?
How?
Uh, I think for, like, if you have a company where you're either running it yourself as the founder of the company, or if
Right.
you have a very very small marketing team, basically if you can count the marketing team on these fingers, just on one hand, then yeah, you should call me. I'm always easy to find on LinkedIn, and yeah, LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn as well. So LinkedIn is an excellent way to find me.
All right. And thank you guys so much. This has been great. Uh, uh, I'm almost perfectly caffeinated right now. I'm on the threshold of it, and I love that feeling mid-morning. It's awesome. Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks, Veena. Thanks, Sapan. Thanks
really
for watching.
appreciate the opportunity, and Dean, I can't tell you enough. Thank you for all that you're doing for the fractional community.
Oh, you're very welcome.
You didn't mean to take this role on, but you have, and we're really grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We really
you're very welcome. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.